Hey guys, so if you're anything like me, you have a hard time getting up in the morning. I struggle with this seriously. I'm a night owl. I like staying up late, but I do not like getting up in the morning. Unfortunately, we do have responsibilities. We have to get to work. We have to do this. We have to do that. So enter HeimVision Wake Up Light Alarm Clock. This guy's packed with a lot of different features, from controlling it from your phone, works with Google Assistant, works with simulates a sunrise or a sunset. It's got an FM radio built in, LED time display, 20 brightness settings. It is RGB, it's got multiple colors, and you can set multiple alarms. So let's get this guy opened up and unboxed and set up, and let's see if it can help me wake up in the morning. What's up guys, it's Drew from Taylor Tech, and on this channel we do smart home tech reviews, installations, and DIY guides. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And hey, at any time, check out the video description down below for show notes and product links for everything mentioned in this video. So without further ado, let's crack this box open. We have a user manual. Wow, that is a very large user manual. Looks like it's in English and Chinese. 5 volt, 2 amp power supply here with a standard micro USB cable. Come on guys, start using USB-C. USB-C all the things. That is the future. And here we go. Looks pretty cool. It's kind of big, but I guess the sun is big, right? It's also got an output for 5 volts, 2 amps if you wanted to plug your phone into it to charge. So that's a nice plus. All right, time out. Obviously, I'm in different clothes, and this is a completely different day. It's actually a few weeks in the future. And the reason for that is I obviously did the unboxing, and I was attempting to explain how this thing works without actually using it for a while. And I got a little bit confused, and I didn't really know what I was talking about, so I thought I would just scrap the whole second part of this video and redo it after actually using it for a while. So that's what this is. Another reason for that is because it's actually a lot better than I originally thought it was. So let's just jump into starting to set it up. Now, as far as setting the alarms and setting the sunrise routine and all of that, that is best done in the app itself. You can do it all from all of these push buttons here. As you can see, there's buttons all around the top, and they do work if you want to use it manually, but I found that the app is pretty nice and intuitive, and you can pretty much do everything from the app that you would do physically. Now, one thing that you would obviously want to do physically is turn your alarm on in the morning, or turn it off in the morning, or snooze it. And this big button here at the top with 2 tactile buttons here is the snooze button. You can press it anywhere. And then to turn the alarm off, depending on which one you have, if you have a couple different alarms going, you have option 1 and 2 here to actually push to turn off in the morning. And the rest of the buttons I pretty much typically leave alone. You've got your radio, you've got your noise to help wake you up or go to sleep. You've got your time button over here, like I mentioned, snooze, and then your light button. I guess if you would like to use this, you can press it once to manually kind of have a sunrise go. You can push these plus or minus buttons to kind of increase or decrease the brightness. And what the brightness actually means in this case is what part of the sunrise you want it to be at. So the higher you go, the brighter it gets, and the color temperature changes to something brighter, something more like 4,000 Kelvin. And as you go down, this is kind of like the sun setting. This is simulating the sun setting. It's going down to a more warm temperature, and then it goes down all the way to actually a red before it completely turns off. And as you can see, it says L01, and that's the lowest level of the sunset. And as I increase, simulating the sunrise, which would happen in the morning, this is of course over a set period of time, like 30 minutes or so. You can see that number increasing all the way to 20, which is the highest setting here with a cooler color temperature. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Oh, there's one more thing. If you go ahead and double tap this light button here at the top, turn it off first, and then you can double tap and have it change to color mode, which you can cycle through all these colors as well if you like. And this camera doesn't really do it justice because it is so bright in here, but it's actually a fairly bright color. It's not meant to replace a light bulb or some other kind of RGB light, but it does give you a lot of nice colors, mostly cool color or mostly warm colors, because it's designed for the bedroom. It doesn't want to be too bright in the room on your nightside table. You can see this, should be able to. There's a flashing Wi-Fi symbol down here, and that means it is ready to connect. So you will need the SmartLife app, is what it's called, for Android and iOS. And I do have one device here that I previously added. It's totally separate. So after verifying that the Wi-Fi symbol is flashing rapidly, if it's not for you, just hold the snooze button down for about 5 to 10 seconds until that Wi-Fi button or that Wi-Fi symbol is flashing. And then in the app, we will click on the little plus button and go to Smart Lighting and Lighting Devices and confirm that the light is blinking rapidly, and I will allow only while in the app. Now we need to make sure that we're using a 2.4 gigahertz network only. This will not work with 5 gigahertz. So I will switch to my 2.4 gigahertz real quick here and enter my Wi-Fi network's password and wait for it to connect. Alright, so the device was added successfully. I can change the name right here to, let's just call it Alarm Clock. And completed. So now this is the cool part, if you ask me. We have pretty much every button that is available on the device itself right here in the app. So if we want to, say, turn on the light, we can just click the little light, turn it on, and we have the sunrise simulated light, and we can change the percentage straight from here, and that will, as you can see, change that percentage of the sunrise value right from the light. And right under that, we can change the RGB colorful light on and off as well. And under settings, we can change the voice control name, which is what the Google Assistant and Alexa will recognize when added to their app. So we want to make sure we change the name of this, or else it'll just be called Light for now, to something specific for this device. So we can call it Alarm Clock Color Light to be as specific as possible. And we'll save that. And now we can click on anything else, for example, the snooze button here, and we can change the settings to the snooze time that we want, and we can change the mode to sound, radio, and light as an example there. And we can turn the radio on and off. I'm not going to do that right now. And we can also change the sleep aid, they call it, which is the kind of like white noise or ocean sounds or whatever you wish. Here we can just turn that on. You can hear this is some ocean noise, as you can see here, which we can change in here. Or this one is called rain. Sorry, it's getting a little bit loud. I'm going to turn that off, but we have options for rain, forest, or river, and all kinds of different settings in here as well, which we can change the voice control name on here for called Sleep Aid. Alarm Clock, I'll call it. You can call it whatever you want. And this is another device that will be added separately in or your Google Assistant. So you're able to add multiple devices for this one device. I believe that actually breaks down to 8 different devices for 4 different alarms, your snooze button, your sleep aid, your light, all these different things all can actually be added from just this one device. So you have specific control, specific voice control of each one of these particular devices within this device. So you can change the time straight on here as well if your time gets off, but hopefully that doesn't happen because there is actually a battery backup on the bottom here, which allows you to save the time in the event of a power outage, or in my case, if you unplug it and bring it back down here to the studio, the time actually was kept perfectly correct. Now here you can also set your alarm and change your alarms, and that's why I was saying that the app is a lot more practical to use than actually using the device itself, because it just makes a lot more sense to be able to do it from your phone. Now I have one set for 4:22 in the morning when I get up, when I'm working day shifts, and if you just click on this, you can change the time up here at the top. Very simple. And you can change the voice control name here, which I will change to, I'll just call it Alarm 1. And I can just set the repeat, all these different things. We can have sound and light, or we can just have light for the sunrise, or we can have radio and light if you want to wake up to the radio. And you can set the volume you want for this ocean sound, and then the simulated sunrise time, which is my favorite part, can be anywhere from 10 to all the way up to an hour. I don't like too much light in the morning, so I just kind of have a short period when I'm ready to wake up for 10 minutes there. And you can set the sunrise brightness. So if you don't want it to be too bright, like I don't, you can have it down here. I have it set to 8. Or if you would prefer brighter, you can go all the way up to 20. And you can turn the snooze function on and off if you want that to work. And that's pretty much it. And if we go back, you can see that there are 4 different alarms here. You can have alarm 1, 2, 3, and 4, and each one of these has their own voice control name. So make sure they are named separately, even if it's alarm 1, 2, 3, and 4, which they are here, alarm 3 and alarm 4, because these will be added as separate devices, like I said, in the Google Assistant app. All right, so now let's go ahead and set up the Google Assistant and the Alexa integration, because I have found it quite handy to be able to go ahead and quickly set the alarm with your voice. Now, if you're someone that sets your alarm 7 days a week, maybe you work the same shift Monday through Friday and then something different on the weekends where you want to sleep in a little bit longer, it may make more sense for you to set the alarm name to something like weekdays versus weekends, so it's easy to set with your voice. For me, I'm just going to leave it at alarm 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so let's jump over to the app to start. And all you need to do here is enable the skill, which is just called SmartLife. So just go to skills and games and type in SmartLife. There it is there, and enable to use. Then you need to link the account, which basically means you sign into your SmartLife account. All right, it has been successfully linked. So now we need to discover devices and see what was picked up. So before we do discover the devices with the Alexa app, I do want to jump back into the SmartLife app and change the name of the alarms themselves to something Alexa can recognize a little bit better, because it gets confused when it hears alarm. So I will change this one to weekdays. So that's probably the most practical name for this alarm. And let's just set alarm 2 to weekends, even though it's 1 in the afternoon, but close enough. All right, so I went ahead and discovered the devices. It told me that it just didn't discover anything, but after looking through all my devices, I actually did find all of them here and added them to my bedroom group. So it's just a little bit easier for you to see instead of having to go through my almost 100 of devices for you to actually see. Now we have Andrew's lamp, that is something separate, so just ignore that. But we have alarm clock, which I did rename. I had it set for alarm clock color lights or something like that. I did change the name to alarm clock to make it a little bit easier. So we have alarm clock, which is the lights themselves. And we have alarm 3, 4, snooze, weekdays, weekends, and FM radio. So all of those devices, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different devices have all been added from this one device. And it's the same idea with the Google Assistant, but I'll get to that in just a second. But just as an idea, let's go ahead and turn on the light. Turn on the alarm clock. And there we go. I'll turn off the alarm clock. Now right here next to the little PM symbol is where it will show when the alarm is set. So keep an eye right there to see when the alarm gets set after I turn it to tell her to turn on weekdays. Turn on weekdays. And there you go, it just popped up. And if I hop over to the SmartLife app real quick, we should see that one of the alarms is set. And there we go, weekdays is set. Now another thing we can do is you can turn on snooze via your voice. You can snooze it with your voice if you want, but I don't really know why you would want to do that when you can just reach over there and slap the top of it like most people want to do. We also have the FM radio if you're into that. So turn on FM radio. And there we go. It does have an antenna here. You just need to kind of search for your channel that you want and kind of keep it on that, or you can search with this, but just go ahead and turn that off. So the Google Assistant setup is pretty similar. Just hop into the Google Home app here and go to add a device, set up device, and you'll go to have something already set up, and then search here for SmartLife, which I already have. I have 11 devices linked under SmartLife. But if you don't, just like we did in the Alexa app, just click on that and sign in to link your account. And just like that, they are all in your Google Assistant. And just so we can show you, hey Google, turn off weekdays.
Sure, turning the weekdays off.
And there we go, weekdays alarm just turned off. Hey Google, turn on alarm clock.
Okay, turning the sleep aid alarm clock on.
And there we go. Alright, so integration with Alexa and Google Assistant is pretty simple. That's about it as far as that goes. And keep in mind, the most popular and my favorite feature of this whole thing is the sunrise or sunset feature, which can be added, like I showed you before, when setting up your alarm. And you can just set up your simulated sunrise time, and then 10 minutes before your alarm goes off is when this simulated sunrise will happen at the desired brightness. And it really does help wake me up in the morning instead of an abrupt, even if it's a slowly increasing volume alarm of mine. Something about complete blackness, complete darkness, and then all of a sudden there's this alarm that goes off. It makes my mornings that much worse, whereas when I actually have a little bit of light coming in at a very warm color temperature and gradually increasing to something a little bit cooler, it really does help wake me up and get my day started off right. Alright guys, that's about it for this one. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below and consider subscribing. If you want to pick one of these guys up, there will be a link in the description box down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.